Hi everyone, and welcome back to the O'Malley's Oven Home Kitchen. And today we are going to be making chocolate chip cookies, except with a little bit of a twist. We're going to do two versions. We're going to do a peanut butter chocolate, and then we're also going to do a bourbon bacon chocolate chip cookie, which a friend of mine posted on Instagram, so I am turning it gluten-free. I've already got our brown sugar and regular sugar and cream cheese in the bowl. Wrong burner. And I'm just going to reheat. I melted the butter already. So while the butter warms up enough to be able to mix this together, this is the way to get a nice chewy gluten-free chocolate chip cookie. And the addition of the cream cheese is what I do with our fudged filled chocolate chip cookies that you might have had at the farmer's market. And so I thought it might be fun in doing these videos to say a couple good things and a couple bad things, because we're all going through all of this together. So I thought it might be fun to share some ups and downs and focus mostly on the ups. As all of you are dealing with, I'm sure, it's been tricky finding ways to still feel busy and productive, to figure out ways to adapt and keep our business going. But on the upside, I have this beautiful sunshiny kitchen to be in, and there's a spoiler alert over my shoulder here coming this autumn. So provided things are back to normal, I will be expecting a baby during what is typically the busiest time of the year. And heck, I'm rooting for that insanity at this point. Let's bring it on. But now that our butter is getting nice and warm, I invite you all to comment with recipes you'd like to see, and good things that are going on in your life. I'm so grateful for this house and this baby, but that doesn't change how hard things are. And even in my most kind of anxious moments, that gratitude doesn't go away, and it's so helpful. So it might be fun if we all share things that we're grateful for. And I'm also grateful for chocolate chip cookies. And I encourage you all to take a nip of your bourbon. I will not be. So what we want to have is a nice warm butter to help. Our cream cheese is soft, but we want to help get this nice and soft and liquidy. I do not have a stand KitchenAid at home, so I'm going to be using this old beast that I got when I moved out for college and still have. And we'll be mixing this together, and I will not make you listen to that via microphone because nobody needs that in their eardrums. Back in a moment. So now, as you can see, we've got nice incorporated sugar, butter, and cream cheese. There was also a pinch of the Himalayan pink salt in my sugars when I mixed them up. And there's still a little bit of clumps of cream cheese, and that's okay because we have more mixing to do. I'm going to go ahead and add my bourbon now. This is maybe more than I need, so I'm just going to go gradually, as is my usual habit. I didn't really measure the bourbon. This is about 2 ounces. Always remove your spoon before turning on your mixer. We'll just give this a quick little blast to incorporate. Now, I don't want it to be much more runny than that, so that was about half of the bourbon that I had. And if it's a little dry when I add in my flour and baking soda, then I can always add more liquid. So we're going to go ahead and incorporate the flour. For today's recipe, I'm actually, instead of using my proprietary blend, using the Aldi's pancake and all-purpose flour mix. And it already contains xanthan gum. So If your mix, your all-purpose flour, does not contain xanthan gum, then you want to add about half a teaspoon to this recipe. So we're getting nice. That is looking like the perfect thickness. That is a beautiful cookie dough ball that we've got going on right here. So, as promised, delicious, freshly made bacon crumbles and chocolate chips. Now, I put a little less salt than I normally would in this recipe because our bacon is salty. And that is looking just perfect and beautiful. And I prefer to pre-portion out my cookie balls before putting them in the cooler because they cool faster that way, and also then I'm not trying to cut a really hard log of cookie dough into portions. So this is about a ½ inch thick and about the size of a silver dollar. And that's what you want to cool. And you can go right from frozen if you'd like, or just into the fridge for at least a couple hours and then bake these. So I'm going to repeat this process for the peanut butter and chocolate cookies, and I will see you after cooling. Okay, so this is the peanut butter and chocolate chip cookies, and I wanted to show you two demonstrations. So as you saw with the bacon bourbon cookies, I pre-portioned them and then chilled them, and for the peanut butter and chocolate I did a log, kind of like the Pillsbury dough logs you can buy in the grocery store. And this isn't chilled all the way. You can see it's still kind of floppy, but it's not as floppy as right when we mix it, so that it's easier to cut into sections for the final chilling. And this is why I don't typically like to chill in a log, because then you kind of have to reshape them anyway. But I wanted to show you guys a couple different variations. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this log up and put these rounds in to chill. And we've got bacon and bourbon in the oven. So I'll see you again soon. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us for round 2 of figuring out cooking videos at home. The cookies came out deliciously. So for the bacon and chocolate chip cookies, I used the Aldi pancake baking mix, and it is delicious and very neutral. For the peanut butter cookies, I let them go a little long in the oven. So they're still chewy. You can see there's a nice bend to them. They're not snappy. It's still a nice chewy cookie, still a little melty. And these I used Pamela's all-purpose pancake baking flour. And both came out great. These also I did not plan well, and I was out of cream cheese. So I used 2 ounces of Greek yogurt instead, and that worked really nicely. So let's see. A little peanut butter action. Now with the peanut butter, I used some vanilla extract and almond extract instead of bourbon. A little palate cleanser. Get some protein with that bacon. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Bigger bite than I planned on taking. I am a huge fan of all things that combine sweet and savory, and this bacon bourbon chocolate chip cookie is everything that anyone could want. And given my particular condition and loving of savory things right now, this is just, these aren't going to be left by the time Scott gets home, and that's just the way it is. So, cheers to you all. Here's bourbon for those of you who are cheersing with bourbon, and I hope that you are all quarantining well and safely.